Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond the Gates. I'm Alessio, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Beyond the Gates, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. On Beyond the Gates, Anita was deep in contemplation as Vernon detailed an Entertainment Tonight item about who should play the articulates in a biopic. Vernon finally spotted his wife's attention and discovered she was planning to hold someone accountable for hurting one of their daughters. Nicole entered and told her mother that Ted had done nothing new to cause her anguish. She was not the daughter to be concerned about. What has Dani gone and done now? Anita inquired, annoyed. Vernon yelled, "Lord, have mercy," when Nicole showed her parents the photo posted by the Anita lookalike who performed Andre and Dani's wedding. The former senator wondered if someone had made a deep fake, but Nicole recognized Dani's clothes, and Anita sniffed that the doppelganger was nothing like her. Thinking before she acts out has never been Dani's strong suit, Nicole said, agreeing with Anita that Dani had done something foolish in response to Bill, and anticipating that Dani would remain trapped in that loop unless she made a concerted attempt to break free. Vernon called the Dupree's kick-ass publicist, and told him that Dani's marriage would be kept out of the press. Nicole believed it was too late because the wedding photo was already on social media and had received 10,000 views. Dani pulled her bag into her house, making Andre, who was also hungover, wonder if the room was spinning. Andre refused to answer her question about needing Alcoholics Anonymous, preferring to collapse on her couch. She objected, wondering what they were going to do about their marriage. Dani moved to have her lawyer nullify their union before the press or her family learned about it. Andre agreed to keep quiet, agreeing with Dani that the family did not need any more chaos. "Could you not refer to my sister as Aunt Nicole until after our marriage is annulled?" Dani grimaced. She knew the media would promote it regardless of whether they were related by blood. After Dani expressed anxiety about what Chelsea and Naomi would say, Andre deduced that Dani was more concerned with Bill's reaction. Dani wouldn't deny it, but she turned the tables on Andre, curious how he'd react if Ashley found out about their wedding plans. As Dani and Andre discussed how honest they could be with one another, they both realized that being married to each other wasn't so horrible. However, when Nicole summoned Andre without explaining why, Dani became concerned that her sister's participation in their wedding had been altered. Andre assumed the visit was related to Ted. "Go before I marry you again," Dani snapped. Andre greeted Nicole, "Hi, Auntie," as he entered the Dupree mansion. "Don't you mean sister-in-law?" The psychiatrist corrected. Anita showed him her doubles post. Andre was unhappy that Anita hadn't acquired permission to post, let alone shoot, a photo of him and Dani, which perplexed Vernon. The patriarch scowled, thinking Andre should be more concerned with the fact that he had married his daughter while drunk. Anita and Nicole were both unhappy with Andre, expecting more from him. Andre argued that he cared about Dani, that there had been no compulsion, and that he and his new wife owed no one an explanation. The photographer claimed that the wedding was on him, but Nicole suspected that Andre was covering for Dani and her famed spontaneity. The soon-to-be ex-Mrs. Richardson boiled down that Dani wasn't the only family member going through something, and that they would all prefer not to be drawn into Dani's turmoil. Andre conveyed his regret and attempted to reassure the Duprees by informing them that Dani was working on an annulment. Vernon believed Dani's swift effort to invalidate her marriage shown growth when Andre left, but Nicole was certain that a fresh Dani crisis was always on the horizon. Nicole had to admit that she was upset that Andre had showed Dani more loyalty than Ted had shown her. Hayley contacted Caroline to let her know she was working from home, and Bill walked in as she said that he had indicated it wasn't true regarding Joey and Vanessa. Bill observed that Hayley disliked being the topic of gossip, but Hayley remembered that the rumors about their relationship were true. The lawyer lied that Vanessa and Joey were not involved, claiming that she and Doug were well as far as he knew. After Hayley noticed Dani's days-long silence, but felt it was the calm before the storm, Bill was certain Dani had heard him loud and clear that they would never be able to reconcile. Hayley hoped this meant Dani would find a romance of her own. Bill did not believe Dani would be moving on soon. "Because you're just so hard to get over?" Hayley sassed. Bill informed Hayley that his marriage to Dani had ended long before he served her with divorce papers. He had undoubtedly loved her for a while, but Dani's emotional attachment to him had always been strong. The Hamiltons disagreed on Mars/Venus methods to breakups and compartmentalization. Hayley couldn't argue with Bill's prediction that Dani would never be entirely over him. As Bill packed his briefcase to leave for work, Hayley took out her phone and read a text from Caroline that included a link to the post about Dani and Andre's wedding. Hayley showed it to Bill and stated Dani had been able to move on much faster than he had anticipated. Bill was angry when Hayley cheered, "You go, Dani." Hayley claimed she didn't need to be as petty as Dani had been, and she chastised Bill for referring to Dani as family. Dani, in her opinion, was both Bill's former and Andre's current family member. When Bill continued to worry, Hayley became animated and labeled his reaction a red sign. "You mean your two grown-ass daughters?" she scoffed, as Bill expressed concern about how Chelsea and Naomi would deal with the situation. Hayley relented on Chelsea, acknowledging that her stepdaughter was still dealing with the trauma of her kidnapping, though Hayley did not believe the news would hamper her recovery. Bill fumed that Dani's demand to be the center of attention threatened to upend Chelsea's return to routine, and that the news coverage would be hellacious. Hayley wanted to be certain that was the sole cause for Bill's dissatisfaction, but he was tired of always reassuring Hayley of his commitment. Bill departed for the office without his briefcase. "You better not compartmentalize me," Hayley complained to herself. Dani thought the Anita imposter had exposed her and Andre, so she called her lawyer to try to manage the situation while the annulment was being finalized. Bill stormed in and asked, "Who was that? Is TMZ seeking for a quote?" Dani scowled when Bill claimed she had lost her mind by marrying a man half her age. After Dani told Bill to go, Bill shoved the Vegas photo in her face. Dani smirked at the lighting and composition, then smoldered that her days of explaining herself to her ex were done. Hayley had to deal with Bill now, and Dani encouraged him to run home because his child bride was most likely waiting for him to slice bananas into her frosted flakes. Bill yelled about Dani's hypocrisy in ridiculing Hayley's age, given Andre's, and told Dani to wake up and start thinking about how her actions affected their girls. She wanted the marriage annulled before Naomi and Chelsea found out. "Score," Dani said to herself when Bill departed, furious. Bill returned to Hayley to grab his briefcase, but she was furious that he hadn't recalled it on his way to work. He remembered it after leaving Dani's. Meanwhile, Andre returned to Dani's and was startled to see her react so calmly to his announcement that her parents and sister were aware of their marriage. "What's done is done," Dani remarked with caution. Andre described how he stood up for her and informed her family that their relationship was ending. Dani smiled. "How would you feel about staying married a little longer?" she asked Andre mischievously. Marcel overheard Jacob leave the most recent of multiple messages for Vanessa, whom he was eager to speak with. Malone pondered about how the wife would react to the news. Jacob felt the question inappropriate and predicted that Vanessa's world was about to collapse. In Puerto Rico, Vanessa gasped in orgasm, leading Joey to conclude that she had liked their most recent round of lovemaking. Joey wanted to try again, and Vanessa halted briefly to check her phone for messages. She called Jacob after seeing the spate of notifications, fearing something had happened to one of the twins. As Joey watched, Jacob sadly informed her that Doug had died in a vehicle accident. Vanessa was stunned as Jacob explained how Doug had reportedly been driving under the influence and died in a car fire after going off the road into a ravine. Mrs. McBride was relieved to hear that Doug had not suffered, and she agreed to return to D.C. as soon as Jacob requested her to come to the station for a confirmed identification. Joey became worried when Vanessa told him that her spouse had died. Joey assured the now hyperventilating Vanessa that the police would not have given her such information unless it was true. "Doug died thinking I was mad at him," Vanessa wailed, recalling their last discussion. Joey was certain Doug loved his wife till the end, but Vanessa complained that Doug hadn't considered her or their children while driving intoxicated, and she wanted to call them. Vanessa was horrified that Doug had been burned to death in a fire, prompting Joey to question what more she had learnt from Jacob. Vanessa was unable to respond. Vanessa was inconsolable as Joey pledged she and her children would survive the disaster. She screamed that she knew Joey and everyone else thought she was a bad wife, and she couldn't fight because she'd been having sex with another man while her husband lay dead in a ditch. What kind of person does that make me, Joey? Vanessa inquired, glassy-eyed. Joey held Vanessa not liable for Doug's intoxication and driving when he shouldn't have. His death had been accidental. Did you have a hand in this, Joey? Vanessa confronted the casino owner, who responded that, while he had little respect for Doug, that did not imply he wanted him dead. Vanessa realized Joey had been pushing Doug's buttons, but Joey said that hurting Doug would mean hurting Vanessa, something he would never do. Armstrong confirmed that he had unequivocally had nothing to do with Doug's death. Vanessa apologized for her suspicion, looking back to see whether pushing Doug into drug treatment would have saved his life. Joey didn't think what-ifs would help the widow, especially since she had to face telling Danelle and Deanna that their father had died. Armstrong suggested Vanessa take a hot shower while he packed for the return trip home. Vanessa silently thanked Joey for looking after her and said that she couldn't have gotten through the ordeal without him. Marcel told Jacob that breaking the news of death had never gotten easier, but he was unconcerned about the McBride's so-called marriage. Karma's a bitch, Marcel concluded as he and Jacob explored whispers about Vanessa cheating on Doug. The detective believed Doug had sealed his own fate by driving inebriated. As Jacob finished his report, he couldn't understand why inebriated Doug had taken his car in the middle of the night rather than calling a rideshare service. Because getting drunk makes you stupid, Marcel scoffed. Doug was a lush, Marcel claimed, referring to the man's case as a simple DUI. However, Jacob had a feeling that something was wrong. After Jacob was sent to a crime scene, Marcel called Joey and informed him that everything had gone as planned. Doug's death would be regarded as an accident by everyone.